Crime Check, courtesy Alive by Nature's Way, distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Ramboli.
I'm Ryan Bachu.
I am Jassi Marik with sport.
And I'm Jean-Marc Rampersad with your weather.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Police launch probe into another of its senior officers. This time, Susette Martin's role in Brent Thomas's extradition is under scrutiny.
As Iran's turmoil sends up global oil prices, Energy Minister is hopeful that could spell good news for this country.
Here's James going, slips it on through. It's there and off the bar from Garcia!
It would have been a lot of unbelievable achievement for us, but it wasn't meant to be.
Ahead in sport, York's Warriors come up short in their quest for Gold Cup quarter-final play.
A yellow level high wind alert is now in effect for Trinidad and Tobago. I'll have the details in tonight's weather report.
In a surprising twist, the senior police officer who initiated the probe into the former top cop is now under investigation herself.
DCP of Intelligence and Investigations Susette Martin is tonight the subject of a police inquiry for her role in the arrest of firearms dealer Brent Thomas back in 2022.
The probe into Martin's conduct was announced at a media briefing today, but while the investigation involves serious allegations against the senior officer, Martin will continue to serve in the role as DCP. Shane Superville has more.
Months after she led the investigation against her former boss, DCP Susette Martin is herself on the receiving end of an inquiry regarding allegations of criminal conduct. The problems arose in 2022 when Martin, the then head of the Professional Standards Bureau, led an investigation to arrest firearms dealer Brent Thomas in Barbados. And while Thomas was charged with the possession of firearms and explosives, High Court Judge Devendra Rampersad was critical of the police's execution of the arrest, describing it as an abduction. After the judgment was issued, an investigation was ordered by former Police Commissioner Erla Harewood Christopher in 2023. In his first media briefing, top cop Alistair Guevara was careful to avoid revealing the exact accusations, but maintained it was serious enough to warrant an investigation.
The firearm dealer would have indicated that certain acts would have been carried out against him and that he felt that it was bordering on criminal conduct. I would not want to pronounce on what exactly is that criminal conduct.
And while there may be some concerns over the timing of the allegations and investigation, Guevara maintained that the TTPS has nothing to hide.
I would have been appointed on the 18th and I would have received the report on the 18th and I would have immediately taken steps to deal with the report. So we are not hiding behind anything. Our hands are clean and we are open to the public.
But even as the investigation into Martin's conduct begins, Guevara says she will continue to serve as DCP. He stressed that the only body authorized to suspend or remove an officer is the Police Service Commission. When contacted, the Commission's chairman, Dr. Wendell Wallace, said he was unaware of the matter and preferred not to comment until he had further information. CNC3 News also reached out to Martin, who said she was aware of the inquiry and was confident that the TTPS would carry out the investigation with fairness and professionalism in mind. Martin added that while she continues to serve as DCP, she would not obstruct investigators and welcomed the inquiry as she was fully prepared to assist in any lawful investigation. In their response to CNC3's questions, the Police Complaints Authority confirmed that they were conducting their own separate inquiry into Martin for the arrest of Thomas, but declined to comment further. While no one knows for certain what the outcome of the investigation will reveal, the public and the membership of the TTPS continues to look on and hope for the best. Shane Superville, CNC3 News.
Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal anticipates a financial windfall for Trinidad and Tobago as global oil prices are projected to surge amid the ongoing conflict involving Iran, Israel and their allies.
However, he criticized the previous PNM administration, claiming that reduced oil production under their tenure limited the country's selling power. As Akash Samaru tells us, Minister Munilal emphasized that the energy sector's new directive is to restore oil production to its 2015 levels.
As one of the world's largest oil producers, Any direct impact on Iran's production facilities or ability to export is highly likely to increase the demand for oil and subsequently send up prices. And while the new administration in the mid-year review budgeted its oil price to an adjusted $66 per barrel, the international price has seen fluctuations from $76 per barrel on Monday morning to around $69 by early afternoon. Now, this country's energy minister, like several other experts, is anticipating prices to increase drastically, which he said is good news for this country.
They call it even an explosion in the price of oil. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that warlike circumstances will give rise to increase in the price of oil.
However, the energy minister asserted that had the former PNM administration not closed down Petrotrin, this country could have benefited more.
The volume of oil produced is 37% lower than 2015. So if you don't have something to take to the market, if the price increases, it will not affect you.
Minister Munilal said in 2015, when the People's Partnership was voted out of government, oil production was 78,000 barrels per day. Now, he lamented, it is down to 48,000. He declared in the lower house that the new administration will mandate that oil production become a priority again. The energy minister said, like in the U.S., where its president said at his inauguration,
"We will drill, baby, drill."
This country will adopt a similar motto.
In Trinidad and Tobago, we say keep it pumping.
And he pledged that the incoming Heritage Board will be made aware of this vision.
The mandate of that board will be to do all and sundry to ensure that we return oil production to its 2015 levels of 78,000 barrels of oil. At least.
Dr. Munilal recommitted the government's promise to restart the Point-à-Pierre refinery. And while he said it won't be a simple process,
it is not simply going down there with a cigarette lighter and lighting up the flare.
The minister said the government is on the verge of implementing a refinery restart committee. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
Just after 8 p.m. in Qatar, Adrian Sukan was preparing to meet some trainees where he works when he heard 3 loud explosions. Those 3 loud bangs were interceptors stopping Iran's attempt to bomb U.S. air bases in Doha. Sukan is one of several TNT nationals living in Qatar working in the energy sector. Many were hesitant to speak to us today because of the strict laws in that country. However, Sukan says, coming from the Caribbean, they are unaccustomed to such occurrences. He explained how it felt in that moment.
Especially because I live alone as well. So I mean, like, yeah, it was like a lot of things was going through my mind because I guess this is what people who live in war areas usually go through. But yeah, I mean, it's like many things were going through my mind, like, okay, what's going to happen? My family, everything, like, yeah.
Sukan says there was information earlier in the day that the attacks could happen, and 1 hour before Iran launched its missiles, the Qatar government closed its airspace. He says there are no immediate plans to evacuate and hopes for a de-escalation soon.
I mean, at this point, I think it's going to be okay, because as I said, Qatar does share a good relationship with Iran. I mean, we were expecting some retaliatory measures like this from Iran because Qatar has a big US base here. We're just hoping that, okay, this, as I said before, doesn't escalate and we can return to life as normal in the short term.
In a response to the developments, Asia called for mediation and peace while imploring all nationals living in the region to place their safety first and evacuate if necessary. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has urged TNT nationals in the Middle East to remain vigilant, register with the ministry's registration system for nationals abroad, and have their documents up to date in case they need to evacuate.
A man injured in a crash involving Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Anil Roberts, has died. The victim, identified only as Kern or Matrix of El Socorro South, passed away after spending 2 days in hospital. He was reportedly asleep in the back seat of the car that collided with Roberts' vehicle. The crash happened on Saturday morning along the Beetham Highway. Roberts' car was broadsided, then struck again by another vehicle. While the minister escaped with minor injuries, Kern suffered severe trauma. In the Senate, Roberts offered condolences to the man's family and friends. And the man accused of killing 20-year-old Savannah Dier has been denied bail and will be remanded. Kibe Wells, a security guard from Quarry Street, East Dry River, is charged with Dier's murder.
Her body was discovered at the side of the road in Carsonfield on June 14th. An autopsy confirmed she had been shot in the head. A video surfaced on social media allegedly showing a man confessing to her murder. Police have arrested another suspect in connection with the case. He remains under observation at the St. Anne's Psychiatric Hospital and is expected to appear in court following his release. Wells is due to reappear in court on January 26th next year.
But still to come in the news, Tobago's finance secretary says any allocation less than 5.9% will do nothing to alleviate poverty on the island.
And coming up later on in sport, the TTFA president, Kyron Edwards, commends Trinidad and Tobago's senior footballers for their discipline and commitment.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, VRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Laventille West MP Kareem Marcel is accusing the government of hypocrisy after Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein recently claimed the PNM spent $1 billion on legal briefs from the Attorney General's office during its 9 years in office.
In his maiden contribution, Marcel claimed Defense Minister Wayne Sturge received $2.7 million in briefs from the Attorney General's office.
However, when Marcel attempted to raise the legal bill of House Speaker Jack Deo Singh, he was quickly shut down, but not by the Speaker himself.
If one Jack Deo Singh received $24.5 million between 10 days.
Mr. Speaker, stand, please. Mr. Speaker, stand in order. 48-8, please. The Speaker is a member of the House.
Member, I'm going to leave that to your discretion. The standing order is there. I'm going to leave it to your discretion because, of course, I have an interest to serve in it.
Last week, Hussein revealed the names of 44 attorneys who collectively received millions in state briefs.
Tobago's finance secretary says the Tobago House of Assembly should be given no less than 5.9% of the national budget for fiscal 2026.
Petal and Roberts says the figure is in keeping with the population size of the island.
Jensen Levent has the details.
Making history as the first woman to present a budget for the Tobago House of Assembly, Finance Secretary Petal Ann Roberts says the THA's request for Tobago is in proportion to that of the country. Roberts says the amount will cover not just recurring expenses, but also plans to improve Tobago.
Let me state here, Madam Presiding Officer, that any allocation to the THA in fiscal 2026 that is less than 5.9% will constitute a non-alleviation of the per capita expenditure inequality that has defined the national budget and its appropriation bill since 1962.
In an immediate response, Assemblyman Watson Duke advised Roberts to temper her words.
There should be no threats whatsoever. Don't try to look tough. Don't try to stand up on the air. You're going to fall down. And I wish to say to the Secretary, whenever she has another chance to take back those words. Those are not polite words. You spoke of partnering and etc. with central government. We need to partner.
After the 2.5-hour-long presentation, Roberts said the THA will pivot if the request is not met.
Well, the plans remain the same. Obviously, it would have to scale down because basically our priorities are our priorities. They would not change. We have adopted the strategic planning pathway. That is what we will be going with for the next 20 years in 5-year chunks.
In a WhatsApp response to CNC3 News, Finance Minister Devinjana Tanku says the request will be considered by the government in preparing the budget. Responding to the presentation, Minority Leader Kelvin Morris summarized it as a fair attempt. He adds that while the budget was themed accelerating growth, anchoring fiscal stability, there was very little talk of that in the budget.
The theme suggests that it is accelerating growth, anchoring fiscal stability. But what the Tobago People's Party has actually succeeded in is not accelerating growth, but instead accelerating Tobago's economic decline. They have not anchored stability, but have anchored our island in fiscal stagnation.
Roberts says close to half the investment budget will be allocated to economic infrastructure, totaling $447.8 million. She adds that the total projected revenue for fiscal 2026 to be $225.5 million.
We want to see GDP growth, creation of employment. We want affordable housing for all. We want to have a sustainable tourism economy. All of these things and all of these actionable items I discussed this morning will be advanced despite the allocations.
Jensen Lavende, CNC3 News.
It was a clean sweep for Penelope Beckles' slate in the PNM's 2025 internal elections. However, the party's political leader is acknowledging concerns flagged with the voting process in yesterday's elections.
At least one member of an opposing slate calls for an urgent investigation into the irregularities.
Jesse Ramdale tells us more.
As preliminary results from the PNM's internal election on Sunday rolled in, head of the One PNM team, Penelope Beckles, declared,
"My entire slate won."
Speaking with CNC3 News outside the Parliament on Monday, Beckles said the sweeping victory for her team signaled not just a renewed mandate for unity, but also reform in the party's election process. It comes amid widespread criticisms from independent candidates, as well as members of the People's Champions slate, headed by Farai Masaisai, over discrepancies with the exercise.
You would have heard me speak about the importance of modernization of the party. You know, looking at how we address those issues, I mean, I was pretty open about it, that we have some work to do as it relates to that.
Masaisai confirmed to CNC3 News that a formal letter outlining the concerns was submitted to the chairman of the PNM's Elections Supervisory Committee, and that calls for an urgent investigation were made. Incumbent Public Relations Officer Faris Arari said he did not expect the concerns with the election process to erode the party's thrust towards rebuilding.
It was the first time in our democratic processes we saw an anonymous group making bobs. And until people like that present themselves with a name and a face, you really can't entertain any discussion. I think that the process is in keeping with what we've had before when Dr. Rowley took over from Mr. Manning.
Foster Cummings confirmed he successfully retained his post as General Secretary and defended the Elections Supervisory Committee's handling of the election in light of the condemnations.
We're not at a state of perfection. I think the committee generally did a very good job.
Meanwhile, Dr. Nyan Gatsby-Dolly, who successfully secured the post of Lady Vice Chair, said it was time to heal internal fractures that emerged in the lead-up to the election. The election results will be ratified in the party's special convention on Sunday. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
The Election Supervisory Committee has confirmed that just over 7,000 out of 102,000 PNM members participated in Sunday's internal election.
In a statement issued, the committee confirmed that the One PNM slate led by Penelope Beckles secured the 14 executive positions that were contested.
Maxine Richards, who won the post of welfare officer, was an independent candidate. The Health Minister is expressing optimism that the upcoming visit by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will include meaningful discussions on health cooperation. Prime Minister Modi is expected to visit this country from June 30th to July 4th and engage in discussions to improve bilateral relations with the Kamal Prasad Visesa-led government. Dr. Rishad Sitran emphasized that with India's technological advances, especially in affordable healthcare, there is room for growth and partnership.
But definitely we would be looking at a partnership. In the past, we have used hospitals in India with assistance for the Children's Life Fund. And we will look to see if we can expand in terms of that avenue, as well as in other areas of health, possibly pharmaceuticals, possibly health services.
While government bashed the former PNM administration for failing to improve the Children's Life Fund, resulting in 80 children being rejected, opposition Senator Dr. Amory Brown argued that some denials were based on poor survival outlooks. In the Senate this morning, Dr. Natalie Chaitan Maraj piloted the Children's Life Fund Amendment Bill. She said the bill aims to expand access to children with life-limiting conditions, not just those with life-threatening ones. In a contribution, Dr. Chaitan Maraj shared the stories of minors who died while awaiting help. She said, unlike foreign systems that act within 2 weeks, Trinidad and Tobago's fund takes months to process urgent cases. Chaitan Maraj described the decades-long inaction as a betrayal of vulnerable families.
Truly, that a fund dedicated to the most vulnerable and most precious among us, our children, was left unimproved despite shortcomings which detracted from the ethos of the Act, which were revealed over the many years of its operation. Not a single amendment, not a dollar more, not even a whisper of policy evolution.
Opposition Senator Dr. Amory Brown responded saying some applications were denied because the medical prognosis was poor. He said it is painful for any parent to accept that outcome. Dr. Brown criticized the lack of supporting data in the bill which would help in giving support. He said the fund's growth should be guided by clinical evidence and policy reform.
I cannot consider a scenario in which a parent would acknowledge or wish to admit that their child may, the diagnosis of their child and the prognosis coming with that diagnosis may not justify the expenditure of funds if funds are available.
Independent Senator Dr. Desiree Murray said success must not be measured by overseas transfers, but by children's recovery and care at home. She urged greater investment in local health systems to reduce the need for external treatment.
Managing Director of Rock Hard Distributors, Ryan Ramhit, says the cement importing company is awaiting release from the Bureau of Standards to restart operations.
Meanwhile, Dr. Thackeray Driver outlines what the gas industry requires.
Andrea Perez-Dobas has more in tonight's Business Watch.
Business Watch, brought to you by Flow. We keep your rhythm flowing.
After ceasing operations in TNT August 2021, Rockhard is re-entering the market as the cement importing company believes this government would be more accommodating to having competition in the market. This was confirmed by Managing Director of Rockhard Distributors, Ryan Ramhit, who says the first shipment of cement arrived in the country last Wednesday.
I've completed my discharge, but I'm just in the stage of having the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards conduct their testing on the cement to give me the release once all goes well. So I am not officially open to the market as yet. I have to wait for the release from Bureau of Standards, which is the norm. That's the norm for me.
Under foreign exchange crunch, Ramhit is confident that the cement company will be able to weather the storm.
Of course, not being able to have access to foreign exchange will be an obstacle. Not really an obstacle, but it'll be a little hindrance to the business. But I'm very resourceful and very resilient, so I have ways of getting foreign exchange outside of Trinidad. I mean, that's just within my company's purview, but yeah, I have ways of overcoming that issue of foreign exchange locally here in Trinidad.
Rockhard closed its doors due to the import duties and implemented restrictions in the domestic market for the commodity placed by the last administration. Energy Chamber CEO Dr. Thackeray Driver says that the gas industry development requires long-term investments over many decades and policy consistency. Driver made this comment on the Energy's website Monday following Suriname Energy Oil and Gas Summit and Exhibition 2025. He advised that all players along the gas value chain must remain competitive for a successful gas industry, as there is need for upstream gas developers, a midstream to transport and process gas, and a downstream sector to transform gas into products, adding that all companies along that value chain needs to be profitable for the sector to be sustained. Further, Driver recommends that there be a big emphasis on training and development of people and investment in human capital ahead of the curve. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez-Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
Business Watch, brought to you by Flow. We keep your rhythm flowing.
Let's check in with Jean-Marc to see what's coming up in the weather.
We had several heavy showers and isolated thunderstorms favoring central and southern areas of Trinidad today. We also had a few settled periods, but tropical wave number 9 is expected to bring some more activity tonight. I'll have the details coming up just after the break.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
ChatGPT, I'm falling.
Failing grades? Contact Student Hub.
I ain't say failing, I say falling.
Then it's time to stop failing. Student Hub helps students succeed online. If school feels like a free fall, Student Hub helps you land on top.
Discover Regal Granola. Crunchy, flavorful, bursting with berries, seeds, Regal almonds, walnuts, pecans. High in fiber with real orange juice. Get Regal Granola, the perfect snack for your lunchbox.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered.
Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best mix and market, high quality, yes. It's affordable, spacious, and customer friendly. From the farm to the cart to your plate, Southern Food Basket, good food at great prices. Come on home, everybody, don't you wait. Southern Food Basket's the best marketplace for you. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket.
Inside every cell is a metabolic engine AMPK. Berberine Plus helps ignite that engine, turning sugar into energy and fat into fuel. Whether you're managing sugar or trimming fat, Berberine Plus supports your goals naturally. Berberine Plus, now available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide.
He hit me. Will CG United cover this?
Don't worry. Remember when I was in that competitive arm wrestling circuit? Three-time champion, baby. I did feel bad crushing all those arms and dreams. So I took them all out for ice cream. And then we got crushed. CG United handle my claims fast.
That explains the arm.
The best cover for the best value. CG United. Good like that.
Be the architect of your dream home at Richmond Park, Columbia. Choose your land and create the home you desire. Lots start from 5,000 square feet and homes from 1,700 square feet. First 7 lucky buyers get $50,000 off your purchase. Use up to $25,000 towards your down payment. Richmond Park, where home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Prices range from 1.8 to 2.4 million. Madras Main Road, Columbia. Call 355-7703.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by Redoxon.
Welcome back. Shawmark joins us now, and we are hearing some reports of strong winds in Penal. At least one house affected. What's going on there?
Yes, that's correct. So we had some gusts associated with some thunderstorms today. We initially had the adverse weather alert, which was in effect until around mid-morning. It was then discontinued, but then we had another one issued right after, a high wind alert, and that is for the potential of high gusts. For the high potential of gusts associated with those thunderstorms. So let's take a look at some of the details of the alert. It came into effect at about 6 p.m. and lasts until 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Now, the Met Office has advised of the high potential of gusts exceeding 55 kilometers per hour. Now, these gusts are capable of displacing unsecured roofs and can even topple trees or weak structures, some of which we have already observed today. Sea conditions are also expected to be agitated during this period. Now taking a look at the satellite, tropical wave number 8 has now sped off to the west, with number 9 quickly approaching Trinidad and Tobago. A low-level wind surge is responsible for its fast movement, and this is the main reason for the high wind alert. Just behind that, we can see a well-defined area of clouds, which is the ITCZ, leading all the way into tropical wave number 10, which just came off the African coast yesterday. Now zooming into the region, generally cloudy conditions over the Lesser Antilles today, just a few showers over the Windward Islands, and we can better see that activity just off our east coast there. So for the forecast for tonight, partly cloudy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, likely accompanied by some gusty winds. Overnight lows of 24 in Trinidad and 25 in Tobago. Tomorrow, much improved conditions as it will be mostly fair, hazy and breezy with some isolated showers throughout the course of the day. Remember, the gusts can be expected near those showers. Now, unfortunately, the Saharan dust will be back and is expected to peak tomorrow. It's also expected to last the majority of the week until about Friday. Seas are moderate to rough, with waves in open waters near 2.5 meters and 1 meter in sheltered areas, occasionally choppy. Winds are expected to be out of the east at 15 to 20 knots, gusting to 35 knots at times. Now, once we have these windy conditions like this, we usually get a lot of rip currents, so please exercise caution when conducting your marine activities. Now, looking ahead, generally breezy and dusty conditions Tuesday through Thursday, with just a slight increase in the chance of some rainfall on Wednesday. Thursday seems to be the best day of the period, and Friday we can expect tropical wave number 10, which will give us a wet end to the week. Now, while we had a cool, cloudy weekend, the Midwestern United States was suffering from an intense heat wave. It was so hot that several roads buckled after expanding in the scorching weather. We can see this car had a Dukes of Hazzard moment here as it went airborne after driving over that ramp that just popped up in its path.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by Redoxon.
Wow.
It's like a surprise speed bump.
Nature's speed bump.
Yeah. It is definitely. It went at least a couple of feet airborne.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Jean-Marc. Well, let's tell you what's still to come in the news. A son's love for his ailing mother currently withstands their shaky living conditions, but the Rampersad family needs more than just physical help. Their stories up ahead.
Redoxon Triple Action. Try its fresh orange flavor with no sugar. Delivers strong immune support with vitamin C, D, and zinc. Strengthen your defenses against viruses every day with Redoxon Triple Action. Redoxon. More than vitamin C, it's from Bayer.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola, Lego, Nerf, and remote control vehicles, kids learning desks, and educational toys.
Visit us at Forces Flagship MacBean or M6 Plaza, Endeavor, or shop online at dbesttoys.com. We have the best toys at the best prices.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Move from CXC to your business management degree in just over 2 years with the globally and ACTT recognized ABE qualification at CTS College. Students with limited CSEC passes or mature candidates with work experience can enroll. Each level can be completed in under 6 months, with a diploma awarded upon completion of each level and a bachelor's degree awarded at the end of the entire program. Contact CTS College today and ask about our flexible payment terms.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Crack the science of stronger hair. New Fructis with keratin, protein, or biotin in reloaded systems. Up to 72 hours frizz control, 48 hours definition, or 72 hours thicker looking hair. New Fructis by Garnier, naturally.
Cold or flu? Take Panadol multi-symptoms. Relief in minutes. 7 cold and flu symptoms. Panadol. Release starts here.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
On a Claxton Bay hillside, 30-year-old Kimraj Rampasad lives a life of sacrifice, caring daily for his ailing mother.
Their leaking wooden home offers little comfort, and while Rampasad longs to return to work, he cannot leave her side.
Radhika De Silva and Ivan Tulsi tell their story.
Kimraj Rampasad lives a life of silent sacrifice. Each day begins in darkness as he cares for his frail mother, 69-year-old Hasina Hussein, who cannot be left alone.
My mom for years now growing up, she suffers from epileptic seizure. But since last year and this year, her seizure started to become more worse. That in January month, she was hospitalized 3 times, also diagnosed with early dementia as well. And in March month as well, they diagnosed her with rheumatoid arthritis also.
Once an accountant, graphic artist, and a social media manager, 30-year-old Rampasad gave up his career to care for his mother. During one of her seizures a few years ago, she collapsed on a stove, losing several fingers. Unable to leave her side, Rampasad pleads for a remote job to help him provide for them both.
I am trying to see to get a work from home job opportunity as well too, and some persons close to me trying to see what they could see companies who do that, but so far we have not been getting any luck to get a work from home job for I to be able to help out the situation for myself as well.
He says their wooden house at Caratal Road, Hermitage Village, Claxton Bay, is falling apart. The roof leaks, the walls shake, and the cold wind cuts through the gaps, worsening her pain.
Certain parts of our home need urgent repairs because in the night time as well too, when my mom room have holes and stuff, so when cold breeze and thing blow and her rheumatoid arthritis act up and that's real pain really bad. Sometimes I will wake up all 11 o'clock in the night time because I will hear she crying with the pain and stuff.
Rampersad says he is hoping to get some assistance to complete this front annex, which his father, Harold Rampersad, started to build 10 years ago. Shortly after construction began, his father died.
When I was working and stuff, easy, well, certain parts outside, I would hire a guy to help do block off, continue to block off and plaster, whatever could have done and stuff. But it have been difficult because never really, with my job and thing, wasn't no big paying job and thing. So it was enough to basically pay for my little studies and help out with home stuff and everything. So never was able to complete it fully.
He is hoping that the public can help him with groceries, adult diapers, and some building materials to repair their home. Anyone wanting to assist can call the numbers on the screen. Radhika De Silva, CNC3 News.
All right, thank you very much, Radhika. Let's hand you over now to Jassy to see what's coming up in sport.
Thanks, guys. Here's a look at what's after the break. Bring on the bubbly. The West Indies women clinch a T20 series win against South Africa. And the Oklahoma Thunder come up sweeping down in Game 7 to an NBA championship.